the show. Never in my wildest dreams, as I read Stan Lee's comics as a kid, did I think I'd be sharing the stage with the legend. And he's about to come out here. You guys excited? Before Stan comes to the stage, I want to introduce Matt Kozloff. Matt, come on up here.
That's not Stan Lee.
Matt is the CEO of Moonshark. He's a mobile game guru, and he's going to give you a peek at Stan Lee's game. You guys are going to be excited when you see this footage. I have seen the game footage. It's incredible. And now let's bring to the stage, without further ado, the man, the legend, true believers, give a Comikaze welcome to Stan!
All you people with nothing better to do.
Damn right!
Actually, there is nothing better to do. Hello there.
Hey, Stan.
Are you the interlocutor?
Yes, I am your moderator for today.
All right, then moderate.
Yes, well, before we talk about Comikaze, we've got something very special that Matt is going to introduce for us. It's the trailer for Verticus. Matt, tell us about it.
That's right. Hal, Stan Lee, and ourselves, Moonshark, are here to announce a really exciting... Is there something going on?
Is there a big engine under this?
It's
What
an
is that
sensor
for?
round.
It feels like the place is going to blow up.
Hurry up.
This is not an embassy. Please bear that in mind. All right, here we go.
All right,
We
so
gotta
we're-
be serious. There's a very serious occasion, I think.
Stan and I are extremely excited to welcome you here today to announce our brand new mobile game, Stan's First. And I don't want to waste any more time. I'd like to let you guys...
What's the name of it?
They'll see. The game is
Tell
called...
them.
The game is called Verticus.
Is it
brand
up there?
new here?
No.
It's about to be. All right. That's the trailer.
Everybody gets to see it but me. I'm facing there and everything's up there. Was my name big enough? The world is in peril. An evil alien race known as the Obliterators has infiltrated the Earth's core, where they're constructing a horrific doomsday device known as the Cosmic Fuse. No weapon or ordinary human has any hope of reaching it in time. Except for our hero. I only have one of these That's it? Imagine the fun of playing that online. You can be Verticus, and you're trying to dodge all those crazy things coming at you while you have to get to the bottom of the universe to save the Earth. And the poor guy, after he's done it, he goes back up and has to do it again. And he also has to do it while he's going back up. So this is only for the most skilled among you. Those of you who don't have 100% skills, wait a while before you play it. This would be very hazardous. Because if you miss one of those things, the whole game explodes. It destroys your home, your family, everything. Each one of these comes with a thing you have to sign or release. Because I will not be responsible. And now that I've totally ruined the game for you, you can go ahead. It's a wonderful game. And the name, What a great name.
Verticus.
Verticus. You'll never forget it.
Now, Stan, you've done comic books, TV, movies. You're now the subject of a documentary. What made you decide to do a mobile game?
Greed. Well, you have to keep busy, or else your wife says when you take out the garbage so this was one of the things. Somebody came to me with this game. I thought it was the greatest thing I had ever seen, and they asked me to narrate it, so that's like doing a cameo, and I love doing those. So now all of a sudden, it's somebody else's idea. They did all the work. I'm taking a lot of credit for it. That's my thing.
Well, for Matt and Stan, how did you guys come together to do this project?
Yeah, well, Moonshark came to Stan.
I like that name, Moonshark.
A few months ago, we thought that Stan would be a phenomenal partner to make a mobile game.
And how right you were.
And we were absolutely correct. And we knew we had to just find the right idea. And we met a great development studio as well, Controlled Chaos. Are they here? Hunter and Mike. Hey, Hunter. Over there. And they pitched us a great idea for a hero that falls. And that's all we had at the moment. And then we went to Stan and we worked with Controlled Chaos, and the team of us kept throwing ideas against the wall until we came up with this story and hero and great deep plot for Verticus, and then we kept making it, and Stan came in.
They're gonna get the feeling that all we do is throw ideas against the wall. That could be another game, throwing ideas against the wall. You heard it first here, don't steal it.
Can you tell us a little bit about the development team and how Stan worked with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So our development team, Controlled Chaos, based in Dallas, a great team. We met them a few months ago. Just like with Stan, where we were trying to find a great idea for a game with them, we kept trying to find a great idea for a game with Controlled Chaos. And once they pitched us the idea for Verticus, we knew it was a really fun idea for a game. And then it came about trying to find, well, how do we make this game as epic as possible? How do we find the best superhero possible? How do we find the best partner possible?
You should have said that first.
I should have said that. In fact, we didn't go to anyone else. We knew Stan was the first person we wanted to make this game with. So we've been very honored to be working.
I imagine so. If I had known he was going to talk more than me, I wouldn't even have come out here.
I'll shut up.
Go ahead, you look like you have a lot of questions.
I have a lot. I
and
do
I
have a lot
hope
of
you
questions.
know the answers.
I know
'cause
some of
don't.
the answers. I hope you know the others.
Stan, can you tell us a little bit about the backstory for the character of Verticus? Because you've created so many legendary characters.
I
tell
thought
us
you'd
about-
never ask. You see, I hate to frighten you, but Earth is in terrible danger because some aliens have planted this ultimate explosive at the bottom of whatever it is, the universe or the bottom of the Earth. And only, what's his name?
Verticus.
I want you to remember that. Only Verticus can dive down and somehow elude all these things that'll kill him if they hit him. And he has to get that thing, that explosive, and he has to destroy it, even at the risk of his own life. I mean, what courage. Then, after he's destroyed it, he goes back up again, but while he's going up, he has to fight his way through more things. He finally succeeds if you're a good player. You finally get him to the top, you breathe a sigh of relief, and then you find out somebody planted another damn thing down there. And he's got to go again, and it never ends, because we don't want your pleasure at this game ever to end. Didn't I say that?
Now, Stan, I've seen all the Marvel movies. You guys have seen all the Marvel movies? My favorite part of every Marvel movie is your cameos. I heard your voice in the trailer for Verticus. Will you be making a cameo in the game, Verticus?
Well, what I'm trying to do in the Verticus game, I'm trying to get them to make me one of the things that he has to get past. But I want my thing to be harder to get past than everything else, and occasionally I'll beat him. And when I say him, I mean you, because you'll be playing the game. So watch out for me while you're playing it. And if you do beat me, if you make me explode, at least say a silent prayer for what is left of me. And I know you will, because you're all good people.
Now, every great hero needs a great villain.
Ooh.
Can you tell us about the villain in Verticus? What can you say about it? We didn't see a villain in the trailer.
You know what? I've been talking too much, and you're getting it. You tell the villain,
okay,
and I'll
tell
correct you if you're wrong.
Okay.
So be careful. I'm listening to every word.
I'll choose my words very carefully. So the Obliterators are the ultimate.
The Obliterator. Where do you get a better name than that?
From you. I don't
That's
know
right.
where else. Your ultimate foe. They have literally penetrated deep into the center of our planet, right in the molten core of our Earth. We're actually saving what the Obliterators look like for a special time in the future. We don't want to give away the
Too
surprise.
scary to show you now. There may be young children or women in the audience.
But for every ultimate hero, there has to be an ultimate foe, and for Verticus, the Obliterators are that persistent, nasty creature. And they'll stop at nothing to stop Verticus from destroying their plans. So there's lots of obstacles in your way.
I hope you all realize what a responsibility you will have when playing this game. It is something, seriously, not to be taken lightly, because if the Obliterator should triumph, there will never again be a wonderful session like this, where you can hear me waxing so eloquent, and you can hear my associates talking while I'm wishing they'd shut up and let me talk again. And this guy with the mic, I can't hear a word he says because the mic, it sounds like this when he talks into the mic. I have this thing I can't understand when people use mics. Your own resonant, beautiful voice, natural in its natural habitat, will do the trick for me.
Well, can you tell us about what's the ultimate goal in the game?
The ultimate goal of who? The Obliterator?
Verticus.
Oh, well, Verticus' goal, if I haven't made it clear by now, he's trying to save all of you, some of whom don't even deserve it. He wants to save Earth and all the human beings on it, and for all I know, the entire solar system. We didn't get to that's part 2 of the game. We'll get to that. If you're good enough to triumph in this game, and if you can beat the Obliterator, oh, I love that name. The Obliterator, then you come to part 2, where the whole solar system is at risk. When you get through with part 2, you'll have a galaxy to defend, and after that, the universe. So I want you all to get in good condition. Don't waste time playing other games. Save yourself. Forgive me, it's been a tough day.
Every great hero has great superpowers.
Right.
Tell us about Verticus' superpowers.
What are Verticus super? Any guy who can dive down to the bottom of the earth and shoot back up again, how many more powers does he need? Does he have any others?
Well, Verticus wears a super high-tech jumpsuit that's heat resistant. That's how he can not burn up on re-entry.
He's got a jumpsuit so that we can sell a lot of those in the stores and make extra money. I forgot about that. I know every one of you are going to want one of his jumpsuits for Halloween and other special occasions.
I have a question for you, Stan. Do you have an iPad?
Do I have an iPad? Of course I do. My God, what a question. What's an iPad? No, I've got an iPad. I don't know how to work it that well, but I've got it. I show it to people. Look, I got an iPad.
And also, the obvious question for Matt, like, when is the game coming out? When can people download it?
Yeah, so this game, which will be available for, at least at launch, for all of your iOS devices, iPad, iPhone, iPod Touch. We're releasing this game this fall. It's fated to
be the biggest online game in history, and I'm toning it down a little. I don't want to sound like I'm exaggerating.
We're also announcing there will be a contest starting today. If you go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Verticus Game. Verticus Game. Someone, Megan, Verticus Game or Verticus?
Spell Verticus for any people.
Verticus, Verticus, Verticus.
Verticus, don't forget it.
Starting today, you can enter to win a signed Stan Lee lithograph for Verticus.
I'm going to enter myself.
We'll also be releasing all sorts of news and screenshots and character art over the next few weeks, so please check out the site.
And tell us a little bit about Comikaze's blowing up. Comikaze's huge. There's a Stan Lee museum here. Can you tell us about the Stan Lee
I thought you would never ask.
Yeah.
There's a Stan Lee museum somewhere hidden in the exhibition area. It has all sorts of figures and artifacts of the Marvel heroes and villains. And I think it ranks with the Louvre, with the New York's Museum of Natural History, the Metropolitan Museum of Art. You've never seen anything so incredibly impressive. And it's free. All you have to do is walk over there and say how incredibly generous of Stan to let us view all this wonderment. So be sure you see it before you leave, and you don't even have to pay me a dime. But any contributions you leave behind, that's okay.
Now, I noticed in the front we've got some members of the media. I think we have time for a couple questions.
Oh, I hate this part. What if we don't know the answer?
Okay, question?
Mr. Lee, thank you. Dr. Mary from the OCView at KUCI. As a child, your dream was to write the great American novel. Do you feel like you have achieved that via your comic books?
I could have heard it if it wasn't with the microphone. What was the question?
You aspired to write the great American novel. Do you feel you've achieved that now with what you've done with all the characters?
Do I want to still write the great American novel?
Yes, yeah.
I think it's very unlikely that I'll write the great American novel anymore. I think I've written some American comic strips, and I think I'm going to have to rest on my laurels, except, of course, forget the comic strips. I guess posterity will think of me as that great cameo performer.
And future Oscar winner for cameos. Other questions from the media? Yes, sir.
Hi, Stan. Eric Bell from GameFob. A lot of people have been considering that comics, specifically the superhero, is the new American folklore, as ancient Greece being Hercules, Theseus, all that. And there's a theory going around that's saying that you are our modern-day Homer. Well, what do you say to that?
All I heard was one word,
yeah.
superhero.
You've been called a modern-day Homer in terms of
All of modern day what?
Modern-day Homer, the myths that you've created modern myths. How do you feel about that?
I'll show you why I'm so good at a questions and answer period. You want to know how I feel about that? Pretty good. I don't know what to say. I'm quite happy about it. I'm thrilled. I can't believe that I'm up here and you're all looking at me with such wondering and puzzled and somewhat hostile eyes. I mean, this is more fun than I've had. This is better than working, I promise you.
Okay, and we got a question right here.
What's being said?
Joven from the high desert, California. I wanted to ask Stan. About they're rebooting the Marvel Universe next year. What do you think about that? They're starting everything all over again. What do you think about that? Or do you support it?
Can you hear?
She says they're rebooting Marvel Universe next year. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think rebooting Marvel Universe is kind of a good idea. You got to remember, these characters have been written about for I don't know how many decades. And the one thing that any comic book publisher or any movie producer or anybody doing entertainment, the one thing they want to hope for is that you don't get bored seeing the same thing over and over again. So they try for new versions. They try to set it at a different time or a different age or something, while still keeping the intrinsic quality of the characters and the stories the same. And I never thought I could speak seriously for such a long period of time. And I hope I answered that coherently, cogently, and with great passion and feeling. And okay, I'll stop now.
Unfortunately, we're out of time for questions. However,
I just noticed something. You're a very lazy person, because you only took questions from people in the front. You were afraid to walk back there because you didn't know.
one last question.
All right, see from the front. Look at him.
Hi, Justin Plow with Noble Press. We just wanted to know, out of all your award-winning performances, which has been your favorite cameo?
Your favorite cameo. What's your favorite cameo?
Other than Verticus.
Other than Verticus, my favorite cameo, because it showed the rare histrionic talent that lies deep within me, I think was in the latest Spider-Man movie. Where you could see that I'm not just a guy who writes stories, but I'm a great musical person, and my feeling for rhythm is so intense. But wait till you see my cameo in Thor #3. I tell you, you've never seen anything like it, neither have I. Don't miss it.
So
That's one way to get him to go to see the movie, right?
So that's all we have time for, unfortunately, but you can actually tweet questions. Just use the hashtag Verticus, and the Verticus official Twitter will answer all of your questions about the game. Matt, I want to thank you for being here. Stan, I want to thank you for creating all of this. All of this, all the characters, Comikaze, my hero, Stan Lee. Everyone, please.
Thanks for your help. Don't forget, Verticus versus the Obliterator, and you heard it first here. Excelsior! Thanks, guys.
And we're gonna roll the trailer another time for those people who came in late. Let's check out the trailer for Verticus.
Where are you gonna go?